Welcome everyone for Live from the Studio. Today I'm with intafon. Let's first launch the intro. Alright, so today I'm with intafon. I'm going through the news a little bit. Hello everybody. I see Giacomo Vanelli is on Twitch and DB Poland is here on YouTube. Welcome everyone. That's gonna be a fun day. So first, a little bit of the news. You know my site, pitchymango.org. That's where you'll find all the information. I want to thank all my supporters. I got a couple of more supporters in the last few weeks, so if you want to join, this is a little bit my Patreon. It's like $20 a year, and that helped me to do this event, make music, etc. And you've got access to all my catalog and albums that are not released. Resonant Frequency is on April 1st, so here is a link. They have opened the sign up, so if you want to join it. What do we have? We've got Peak. Peak is supposed to be this Wednesday at 7 p.m. I don't know who's going to be, but if you subscribe to their meetup, you'll get the announcement. What else do we have? We've got Resident Electronic Music for April. So it's already set up. The sign-up form is not there yet. It will be on the bandcamp, but it will be April 13 at 8 p.m. We just had it this week. There was a very nice set of performers. What else do we have? Just after this show at 2 p.m. Pacific, you've got Modular World, and I will be performing with Megan Leber, Jen Spaldam, Todd Barton, and Trovarsi. And this show is organized by John Noel, so it's just after this show at 2 p.m. So grab some food for lunch and then come back for Modular World. That's going to be awesome. On all the YouTube links, you can click on them and set the reminder so YouTube will let you know. I see Alphaster is there, and then the Peronosphora and Stu J also have joined. Carnalex also is here, so welcome on the show. Another event on my side, I'm doing a showcase for South by Southwest. A little tip also, this is a link to Songkick. So if you don't know about Songkick, there's a tour box, and this is if you set up a show on the Songkick, then it's getting picked up by Spotify, by Bandcamp, and by many other stuff. So that's one way to advertise your show everywhere. And I've got also a widget on my site that pick up all these shows. So Balance Breakfast is next week. It will start on Thursday and finish on Saturday. I'm performing on Saturday with Fez also, and there is like, I don't know, 70 artists. So that's going to be a nice showcase. What else do we have? The Monday, when is it? Monday 22, I think. Monday also 22, I'm performing an Inbox Expo. So if you want to know everything about email, that's Inbox Expo. But here is a link so you can get access to the free part of the exhibition. You can have access for free to all the performance. So it's a Pitchy Mango Expo entry. Alright, what's this? So Albany has released July on Bandcamp, so please check it out. You've got also Cortini has got a new one, The Long Now. You know that he has released a new new synthesizer with Make Noise. I've got a friend also, Subclinic, that has released a new album. He's a local friend, so it's quite interesting. He does modular synth and normal synthesizer. John Owens, who does Modular World, has also released an album as part of Error Grid, Gotham Child. It's a kind of I don't know, cinematic journey, cinematic game journey. So it's quite interesting. Please check it out. And here I am. Sorry, I'm mixing up stuff. Why I've got intafon Instagram here. Wabi Sabi also launched a new track, which is Center. Please have a look. And let me see where I am. And Lachlan Fletcher has interference pattern. I will receive Lachlan Fletcher in not the next show, in 3 shows. So we'll talk about his new album that he did in collaboration with a few people, so that's quite interesting. All right, that's what I was looking for. Intafon site, and let me swap a little bit things. Here we are, I'm with Intafon. Welcome, how are you doing today?
Hello, Frank. How are you doing?
I'm doing okay. So let's start by, before we start, this is Tuje, Malaki is here. Okay.
Hey, everybody.
And Sujay say also, join tomorrow's conversation with Alex Anderson, WMD, on Clubhouse Club Eurorack. Yes, at 10 a.m. We've got a little group on the Clubhouse also. So Sujay is organizing that. So if you want an invite to Clubhouse, just send me your phone number and I'll send you an invite. I've got a few spare ones. All right. Intafon, who are you?
Who am I? Well, I'm a father, a husband, a software engineer, and also, I guess now a musician. I've kind of come a long way in terms of the music situation.
So how did you get into music?
Well, music has always been a super important part of my life. As far as I can remember back, even to my childhood, I remember, and actually sound effects were a very important part of my childhood too, because one of my favorite songs when I was a child was Benny and the Jets by Elton John. And I liked the sound of the Jets in the song. Or I remember a sound of Jets, maybe there wasn't, but, and then, through when I went to college, my palette just exploded. I worked for WREK Atlanta, the radio station, for a long time. I actually had a show there for a while. And then I started, when I went into grad school, I started working on video pieces and I started scoring those video pieces myself. And then over the years, I've kind of done, stuff here and there. But it wasn't until about 2018 or 2017, a friend of mine, Shuhei, who lives down in LA, he actually gave me his happy ending kit. And he was like, here, try out some modular. So I was like, all right, well, I have this kit now, so I have to try it. So I started acquiring some modules and it just really clicked. And now, it's really become something that's I'm very passionate about, and it takes a lot of time, but it's super rewarding.
Yeah. So you say it was relatively recent. So what has been your parkour, your path since then? What has been what did you started exploring it on your own, or you got in touch with other people?
Yeah. So I didn't really have too much contact with a lot of people until very recently, when I did the open mic show for Resident Electronic, and Need for Storms reached out to me and said, hey, we have this group of people. Do you want to take part and, chat and whatnot? And that's been super great. Everyone is super friendly, very, very knowledgeable. So, it's a lot of smart, very passionate people in our group. So I'm very fortunate to have all of you guys.
Yes.
And gals.
Totally. And yes, I see a question. So remind people, please put your question in the chat and I will relay them to Intafon. So peronosphora is asking, are your children interested in music?
Yeah, I have one son. He's 8 years old, and so from a very early age, I would play music around, and we have lots of videos of him dancing crazy to music. And as of late, he's actually picked up a GarageBand and started playing with GarageBand and making music with GarageBand, which is just totally fascinating because, back when I was that age, if I was making music, it would be, beating on things or blowing a whistle or playing a recorder or something like that. Well, other than piano, but, in terms of like non-formal instruments. So it's really fascinating to watch.
Maybe I think the question is not how did you get into music, but maybe how did you get in tech from music? If your beginning was more scoring and stuff, or were you already in tech and you were doing that on the side, or you went into, from, because you said your beginning was very much in the music, so your way of from doing music as a business.
I've always had kind of a split personality. So I was, in elementary school and high school, I was, total math science geek. And so when it came to choose my path for what I was going to do in life, I ended up going that way. And that's been very rewarding as well. I really enjoy coding, software engineering. That's one of my other passions. But for a long time, I sort of put music on the back burner because of that. So I wasn't really multitasking very well in terms of my life interests. But, once I started getting into music a little bit more, and particularly, my wife was a strong influence in pushing me to say, do it. If you want to get involved with it, you should just go for it and do it. So, that sort of helped a lot. And, making the investment in, equipment that you can actually do something with rather than just buying a $20 thing here and a $30 thing here, really sort of helped me focus and get into it a bit more, take it a bit more seriously.
Yeah. But I see also Sujay is asking, what is a music-related purchase that greatest impact on you, instrument-wise?
Gosh, that's a good question. Well, clearly the modular system, but if you're talking about specific modules, that's a very difficult question.
Or maybe let me ask you this one. Which module did you get during COVID?
Oh, I don't want to talk about that.
Why too much purchase?
Too many. Yeah, I think I'm at the point now where I'm, there's always that itch when you see something new that comes out that's really compelling. But you really have to sort of take stock and step back and say, okay, well, I have what I need now. And, it's always a matter of desire for that new shiny toy. But I think once you can kind of focus on specific pieces of your setup, that's when things get really interesting.
Yeah, I see you. I don't know. I see you've got some blank panels on your case, so
I do.
You know what's the attraction of blank panels?
Well, actually, the blank panel in this case was actually so there's two things. It's one, to remind me that I don't want to fill it entirely, and then two, I was fascinated because this book, this is actually a book cover in this top left-hand corner. When I went to grad school, we read that book. It was Technoculture, and at some point in time, the book went through some sort of disaster or something, and the book is completely mangled, but I still had that piece of the cover, and so I decided to make a blank panel out of it.
And you say the book is what?
Technoculture. It's like it's probably a bunch of essays about postmodernism and that sort of thing.
Okay, interesting. So yeah, I see Sujay and Shuhei Tabashi. Hopefully I'm saying the name right.
Shuhei Itabashi.
All right.
That's my friend in LA that gave me the happy ending kit that kicked me off on this crazy modular journey.
All right. Okay. So the person to blame. That's awesome to have friends like this and to give you on this journey. But yeah, maybe I don't know what's module has got the most impact for you, or which one has got, which one, you say, oh,
Which module? Well,
which one reflects you, or the one that you like? The one that is more influential for your music.
I don't know. I would have to say. So I really enjoy the Make Noise modules a lot because they sort of have that sort of experimental flair to them, and obviously, like for example, Maths is like the canonical example. There's so many different things you can do with it. Wogglebug is just so endlessly useful depending on what you're going to use it for. Because you can do sample and hold with it. You can do random voltages. You can do smooth random voltages. Use it as a clock. So many different other things. Let's see what else. Clouds is also obviously really fantastic. So you can really dive in and do some interesting things with it. Particularly if you load on parasites or super parasites, even with the percussion firmware. I can't remember the name of it.
I don't know. Yeah, I know Parasite. I don't know. Yeah, there's a couple of them. Bees? There's something like Bees also on Cloud?
Oh, yeah. That's actually a Peaks firmware, I believe. Something Bees, yeah.
Yeah, that's what is nice, that it's quite open. And then you've got the new Beads, which is out. Which, I don't know, I guess an improvement on the previous Cloud. Maybe a little bit different, but
yeah, it seems different. Yeah.
So I don't know how you would define your music, or what's your influence. You say, I guess, I don't know, if you read the techno book, that must have had some influence.
Well, so I all during my life, I just enjoyed so much different variety of music. And the radio station that I mentioned earlier, WREK, they played everything from bluegrass to ambient to noise to electronic, rock and roll, punk, jazz, reggae. So that radio station was working there was just great because you would get exposure to so many different things. And now I try to reach out and find as much stuff as I can. Like the other day, there's the YouTube rabbit hole that you can fall down into. I did a search for the other Friday night. I did a search for Jacques Bercal, who is a jazz trumpet musician. He originally did I guess he was the one that did the original version of Rock and Roll Station, which was covered by Nurse with Wound on the I guess it was the Rock and Roll Station album. And so it was really fascinating. Doing a search for him on YouTube just came up with all these different crazy, like different things. It's just totally fascinating how many just different musics that you can find that you've never heard before in your entire life, no matter how old you are. And it's just so much wonderful music out there.
Oh yeah, and
but right now I guess I listen to a combination of between minimal electronic music, jazz. I listened to a little bit of ska the other day for the first time in a while. Just all kinds of stuff.
Yeah. And DB Poland Wasabi saying it's a Cameron firmware.
Yeah.
Cameron. Yeah, we are looking. Thanks.
That's the one that you can do the really glitched out beats with.
Oh yeah. For the people that are into glitch.
Right.
Well, I don't know. The I'm lost words of Claude's. What's the synthesis of Claude? No, when I'm looking for the words.
Granular?
Granular. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
I don't know. My brain is sometimes weird.
It happens to all of us.
Yeah, granular, glitch. It's a little bit close to each other. I don't know how I feel.
Yeah, I still have the Curtis Rhodes book on what's it called, Microsound. I still have not read it yet, but I've had it for, I think like 5 years now, and I keep meaning to read it. But
I should check it. This one. Yes, and so and also, as you know, to say Shui Tabashi name correctly, you've got some Japanese culture origin. What's your relationship? Is that influential in
well,
your music?
my wife is actually Japanese. Yeah, so and my son actually goes to an international school, so we sort of stay, very close with a lot of Japanese folks that live in the area. So
yeah, but does he have influence in your music or in your?
Yes, but only in the sense that there's a lot of Japanese artists that I really admire, particularly in the electronic music scene, that do things that are, and the same could be said for a lot of other countries as well. Even Western European countries. Just the way that they sort of approach music is slightly different. There's the old, stereotype of the German electronic musician, but in Japan, there's jazz has a large influence, I feel like, and the way that they approach music is slightly different, just because of the cultural differences and that sort of thing. So I guess I'm influenced just in the same way that I'm influenced by any other music.
Yeah, that's cool. I know DB Parent goes by his artist name Wabi Sabi, and yes, also is influenced by I don't know, Asian music sometimes. You can hear it, but yeah, that's that's interesting. And some culture also don't have the same music scale as us.
Yeah, I was actually trying to work in a for one of the resident electronic, I was trying to work in this sample from I can't remember his name. He's a old school tabla player, and he was doing a thing with Ravi
Shankar.
Yeah, Ravi Shankar. So Ravi Shankar was like clapping the beat, and he was playing the tabla, and they were sort of doing a call response, and then he went into the actually singing the beat, and I was trying to work that sample into something I was working on, and it just wasn't happening because the beat structure and is just so different.
Yeah, I've heard a little bit of Kathak and Indian music, so yeah, it's quite different. Also the percussive of in Japanese music, in traditional Japanese music, are also quite interesting. I like when the European school of music mix with other school of music. You get a lot of creativity.
Yeah, I see DB posted a Eurorack Inca. If you know what Inca music is, it's there's a lot of like really interesting Inca music, particularly the 60s that I was listening to recently. But it's sort of a very Japanese sort of pop style from like the 60s.
Yeah. And we had Hatakan came here in San Francisco, I don't know, a couple of years back or so. So we came to do a performance at Franck's place, All That Gone. So that was quite interesting also. So I tried to listen to what is it, Tokyo Modular Synth Society event.
Yeah.
Yeah, and recently I think there's a Chinese woman that has got some bukla also, so that's interesting.
Yeah, I think I saw that as well.
Yeah. I know. Yeah. It's a discovery, I don't know, via Clubhouse, Instagram. It's interesting. Alpha Star says slightly different, yes. Mainly a lot different. It's interesting also because Doug Liner does macrotonal also. It's I think it's still in the scale, but going to the macrotone, but not necessarily tune into the scale.
Yeah.
So, what have you been working on your music lately?
So I've been trying to get a little bit more into a little bit more minimal and a little bit more maybe even a little bit more ambient sounding music, just as kind of an experiment, just to see if I can do it and just see if I can restrain myself. Because I think most of the time when I start working with the modular, it sort of takes me where it wants to take me, and I have to kind of go along with the ride. So it sort of takes a lot of restraint for me to not add in, some additional percussion or additional noise or something like that. So I'm trying to be a bit more disciplined.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to explore. So sometimes I've got the push to put all the voice together that I've created, and I'm trying to say no, I'm only 3 or 4 voices at a time, not more than that. So I can rotate them and do a piece. But yeah, sometimes it's a struggle.
Yeah, for sure.
To be able. I see Alex Barnett joined us also, and All That Gun. Yeah, we were talking about when All That Gun was hosting at Akan. Yeah. So. Yeah. So you're going into minimal. Is that the type of music you do? And I've displayed your Bandcamp. Let me bring it back. You've got a couple of albums there. Have you got some new things coming to be released? Or what are you working on?
Possibly soon. I have so the last album that I released, the Uranium Orchids, was actually things that I recorded back in 2019. So I still have a cache of things that I did during 2020, and I'm trying to figure out how to sort of put those together into a package that kind of makes sense. I think they, just because of the fact that, it's sort of a chronological journey through, creating music, I think they all kind of bond around the same sort of thing. There's no themes really involved with it so far. There's no themes of isolation or anything like that particularly. It's just a lot of experimenting with different things. But I'm considering putting that out, putting that together and putting that out soon. But I've been kind of taking a break from mastering and reworking pieces to do some more creation instead.
You do your own mixing mastering?
I do currently. I haven't taken this step. So I mentioned before that, prior to 2018, I wasn't really as serious about music creation. Then I've gotten more and more and more serious. And I'm still kind of at the point now where I haven't really, I'm still wanting to learn more about creation, music creation, mastering and production and that sort of thing. And then at the same time also, I haven't quite taken the step from, doing all my own stuff to working with other people in that process. But maybe the next album or the one after that.
Yeah, I'm exploring collaboration also, and I did one album master with Nathan.
Yeah. Yeah, that he's in my target list for when when I'm ready.
Yeah, it's a go-to one. No, that was really and that was a really interesting and very good experience.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I'm not in the level where I can contract him for every album.
Right.
So I tried to do everything, and also I moved to quadraphonic, and it's not set up for quadraphonic.
So. Oh, interesting. Yeah.
So I try to do a little bit everything myself. We are reaching half of the hour, so I'm reminding people, if you have got questions for intafon, then please put them on the chat and I will release them. Also, don't forget to subscribe to this channel and subscribe to intafon YouTube channel. I think you need a little bit more subscribers so you can have a fancy URL. So please subscribe to his. You need to pass the 100 subscribers, and then after you can relax a bit. Once you've got
right.
Once you've got the nice URL that you can pass to friends easily. So don't forget to subscribe. I guess the time for your performance, you want to introduce it, talk about it, or I just launch it?
We can go ahead and we can launch it and we can chat about it after. I just so people don't think that it's I put in a tribute to our dog who died a couple of years ago in there, because I would always record him on my phone. So I put a tribute in there as sort of a credit, because he's actually a part of this piece.
All right. Okay. So here is intafon modular synth performance. Oh, that was really a nice set music. The kalimba and sorry, ping vibes, wing pipe. No,
Wing pinger.
wing pinger. Oh my goodness,
Yeah.
what's wrong with me today? So that's cool. So yeah, and I saw all people commenting on the chat about it. It's really nice. I think also Arduk is here, and Arduk does a show Sound Wheels on KZSU, and he featured both of our music on the show on Tuesday. So that was really really awesome. So
Yeah.
check.
Thanks again, Arduk.
Yeah, check Sound Wheels on the KZSU every Tuesday at 8 p.m. So what was the inspiration for this track?
I don't know. As I said, I kind of wanted to do something a little bit more chill since it's Saturday morning brunch time. I actually had a dream. I had a dream that I was using a Simply Red song, and I was creating this marvelous vaporwave sort of piece. And so I proceeded to acquire said Simply Red song and pitched down the samples and tried to work with them, and it just wasn't having it. So I switched gears, and the sort of rabbit hole that I went down with the Jacques Barracal that I was talking about the other day, I pulled in several samples that I found on my sort of rabbit hole there. I found there's the first backing sample that you hear is actually our dog. He's sort of an angry fellow, and so he liked to growl a lot. So that was him singing. The second sample that you heard, there was sort of a piano kind of ominous kind of sounding thing. That was a track from a Hozan Yamamoto album. He's a shakuhachi player. The flute wasn't featured in that sample, but it's a really interesting jazz album that I found. And let's see, then there's the other sample was from this album called The Hotel of the Fallen Climber, except it's in a different language. I think it's in Estonian or something. And then the last thing actually I found, there's this really interesting label called, gosh, I can't remember the name of it now, but it's based in Austria, and they have a lot of really interesting variety of artists on it. And that sample was from a track by this artist called Akruel. It's AKRU_L. It's a really interesting piece as well. The whole album is really good. Yeah, and I kind of wanted to play around with sort of some more chill, kind of minimal vibes, and I wanted to try to harness the wing pinger to work in somehow with a beat oriented thing instead of just kind of a sort of meandering ambient piece.
Yeah, no, that was cool, and it was nice to bring the different instrument or the kalimba. Alex Barnett, I see Y Nakamura is here also, join, and Carnalex.
That is my wife.
Oh, okay. Hi. Alex Barnett, he says he's interested to know about the glitching in the first part of the set.
The glitching in the first half. That may be the wing pinger, actually. There's two sort of glitchy things in there. One that you heard kind of towards the end more as well was a chopped up AM radio. But I think that's probably not what he's referring to. I think he's probably referring to the more noisy wing pinger stuff. So the wing pinger, I ran it through clouds, and then halfway through the piece, I clamped down the position, or not the position. I clamped down the size on clouds and and turned up the pitch, so it turned into this sort of like sort of really metallic sounding thing towards the middle. Yeah, the wing pinger it's sort of like a distant cousin of the woggle bug, actually, in a strange sort of way.
Yeah, bringing a picture of your set from Instagram, so we can see The wooden case in the forefront.
Oh yeah.
So people like me who are not fully sure what's a wingpinger. So what does a wingpinger do?
So Wingpinger is by this Chinese artist named Meng Qi, and it's basically kind of what it sounds. It's filters essentially, and so you're able to ping the filters and produce different sounds. And he's got it hooked up in such a way that you can the circuits sort of cooperate with each other, and they sort of I can't remember the name of the mode. Cross ping. There's a cross ping functionality that actually they ping back and forth between each other, as far as I understand, and it creates some really interesting sounds. So you have inputs for cutoff, you have inputs for Q, and then you have the internal imports. So you can actually inputs. So you can feed sound into it if you want. So it can filter those sounds coming through and sort of mix them around on each other. And then it also has a stepped, it's sort of like same as a stepped random, except it's not exactly random. I guess it's actually more chaotic. So you have that as outputs as well. And then in addition to that, you also have trigger out. So except in this case, what I was doing, I think, I had the stepped out going into one of the Q inputs. And then all the inputs that were actually going in were not sound, they were triggers. So that way, that was my attempt at sort of wrangling in the wingpinger to perform in a sort of beat-driven musical thing. But it can also create some very beautiful tones. That Scanner has Robin Rimbaud. He has a couple of videos that he did with wingpinger, and there's one that actually the tones are very reminiscent of like a sort of over-processed Boards of Canada, sort of mellow synth sound. So it can do a really wide range of sounds and sort of yeah.
Yeah, no, that's quite cool. Any other I don't know tips you would give to somebody? How about?
Yeah, I actually found this really very sort of fun technique. So the past couple of pieces that I've done for performances have sort of centered around these looping samples. And so I've used one of two modules for that. I've used either the radio music or the Tip Top 1. I actually have the Tip Top 1 dropping crystal module. But this time I opted just to use the radio music. And the reason for that was because it has that sort of station control where you can switch between the quote unquote stations that are represented. But the thing that I hadn't really thought of before, and the thing that I was struggling with before in one of the other pieces that I was doing, was sort of getting it to sync up. So I had a beat that was, or a trigger that was going to the radio music to ensure that the sample was playing with the time of the music. But there was always that period of time when you switched over, when there was that block of time that it was out of sync. So what I did instead is I have a lapsus os from Noise Engineering, and I have that as the slider that controls the station, but that's actually fed into a sample and hold. So then the sample and hold holds that trigger, or holds it until the next trigger, so I can slide it up to sort of queue up the next sample, if you will. And so that way, when the next beat kicks in, it'll trigger the appropriate sample, and it'll be on time, and it'll always stay consistent. Something did happen in the middle. We were talking before. There's that one part in the piece where the harp sounding sample gets out of sync. I don't know what happened there, but when I slid up the slider, I heard this like sound, and then all of a sudden the same sample was playing, but it was out of sync. I don't know if there was like some sort of, I don't know, base condition or something that happened that caused it to not work entirely, but it was kind of interesting.
Yeah, and anyway, it's I don't know, it felt right, so that was the important part. Yeah, that's quite cool. Yes, no, that's interesting. So we talk a little bit also, upcoming project. You say you've recorded some tracks, and then you're trying to figure it to put them together in an album. But do you have some incoming performance or live performance or?
I don't know yet. I did I may sign up for the next Resonant Electronic, but I signed up for Resonant Frequencies, but we don't know what the lineup is for that yet. So
yeah, usually
I may be on that.
Yeah, usually it's cool. You're likely in it. So.
I'm in.
You never know, but yeah, if you sign up early, you're likely in it. Yeah, and it's a good event, and then some really cool visual artists. I don't know.
Yeah, and it's actually it's a bit of a challenge too, because a lot of the streaming events are pre-recorded. I did Peaked. That was a totally live, and that was a lot of fun. And actually, it's sort of I don't know, when I doing the recorded pieces, it's a lot of fun, and I can control what I'm doing and everything. But when I did the Peaked live performance the last time, I really sort of reconnected with stuff that I did when I was younger. And I don't know what it is, but I don't feel like that much of an extrovert at all. But I actually really enjoy performing. I performed piano when I was a child. I performed in a jazz band in high school. And then in college, I did some sort of live performances with theater. So I don't know, it sort of brought back that feeling that I had before that I kind of forgotten, that I really enjoy performing live.
Yeah. And I think you were on the, not the last peak, one peak before that, I think.
I think so, yeah.
It was like 2 months ago.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I think and I gave the...
or however many months, who knows?
Yeah, I don't know. Last century, who knows? I'll give the link to Peak Against to their meetup, so you can have access to all their shows and watch intafon there. Yeah, no, live performance is quite interesting, and I don't know, I kind of miss it. Having a crowd, having crowd, the public, it's a little bit different.
Yeah, and there's the unpredictable nature, and you have to sort of, you're focusing all this mental energy on, trying to do what you intend to do, and you forget stuff, so you just kind of have to adapt, and then you miss your cues, and you just have to adapt. So it's a very sort of exciting process, but then you're also sort of sharing, what you're doing with other people, and I think that's really rewarding. As I mentioned, there was, with the piece that we watched earlier, there was actually 3 or 4 different things that I had planned to do that I just totally forgot.
Yeah, it happens. This is the thing which is also interesting, I guess, with Modular, is that there's no partition, so you know what transition you can make, what sounds together in the voice, and when I turn this knob, I will get that sound.
Yeah, and that's what. Yeah, it's super exciting, because you can. It's sort of like you have to build your case up. You have to build your instrument. Then not only that, but then you have to sort of build and craft the ways in which you perform.
Yeah, but
which is different from a piano. Okay, we're going to play the keys and everything. But with modular, you have to make everything up yourself almost.
Yeah, and I think also, there's no partition, so there's no score. So I saw some people, like they take note about the transition that they want to do and probably the timing that they want. But also, there's no score, so if you don't do a transition, you can do it later or not at all. And
right.
Depending on the mood of the day. Even if you perform with several people on Modular, there's not necessarily a set score. It's a loose.
And
go ahead.
I was mentioning the podcast that Mylar Melodies did with Surgeon, and he was talking about this sort of moment of destruction and chaos that happens sometimes in a performance, and he just kind of goes with it and doesn't freak out and try to fix it right away. He just kind of lets it destroy itself and then builds it back up again, which I think is a really fascinating way to approach it.
Yeah, I've got Derek Doherty who say, just makes the same mistake twice and nobody knows.
Right. Repeat it twice and it's a pattern.
Yes, and that was intended.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, no, that's cool. And I see also Sensor Music is here. I think he was on the last Resident and also on the Synesthesia show.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
A few Sunday ago, that was cool. Yeah, Professor say also, the talk with Surgeon was good stuff. All right, I guess I need to find it and listen to it.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, it's a really fantastic podcast, and you can tell that, Mylar Melodies, he's always doing these videos, and he's kind of an excited sort of guy. But with this podcast, you can really, it works really well because he's such a big fan of Surgeon that you can just hear the excitement in his voice, and they just have a really great conversation.
Yeah, I saw it at Mogfest with Light Bass. They did 2 sets, but he came in only with his iPhone.
Oh yeah, he was talking about that at some point. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, he came in with the iPhone and plugged it into a sound card, and that's what he performed, and that was really awesome.
Yeah, I've been playing around with, I was talking about my son playing around with GarageBand. GarageBand has 2 different modes, right? They have this sort of tracker / sequencer mode, and then they also have kind of a more, a looper mode, essentially.
Yeah.
And it's super easy to make some really like nice, chill, kind of like lo-fi hip hop sounding stuff. And I've actually toyed around with like sort of trying to work that in somewhere, even though it's completely different from what I normally do.
Yeah, one stage I also loaded the Launchpad app, which is, I guess, the same stuff that GarageBand now has. So you've got all the sample and they are well organized and you can launch them correctly. Quite neat.
Yeah.
We passed a little bit the top of the hour, so that's time we're starting to wind the show down. I think we talk about project. Is there anything that I don't know we should have covered and we forgot? Do you want to do some shout out to friends, albums, or other things?
I don't know. Shout out to my wife and son, and Shuhei, if you're still in the chat. Thank you, sir.
Yes. And is Shuhei performing too?
He does perform off and on. I think maybe, I don't know, I haven't talked to him about that recently, but I think he does perform as well.
Okay, well, encourage him to sign up for Resident or Resonant Frequencies.
Oh yeah.
One of the shows that would be
for sure
awesome to to have him and so his craft. And see where I don't know your bug in Modular Synth come from. All right. Just seeing if anybody has got any more questions for intafon. Otherwise, I'm going to go back over the news. So we are. I think I should put back your Bandcamp because I like to, promote people via Bandcamp at the moment. So please follow intafon and Bandcamp so we are ready when your next album is out of the press.
Yep.
That would be cool. And I think I didn't put also your Twitter. All right, so I don't see too many artists on Twitter.
Yeah, I know. It's very, very. It's sort of died down these days.
Yeah.
Yeah. I keep seeing my name pop in an orange in the chat.
Oh yes.
I chose that name because no one else uses it. It's sort of unique.
Yes, that's I don't know. Let's not talk too much about music business, but yeah, when you choose an artist name, you'll need to do a Google search first to see, how many collisions you will have.
Yep.
And you need to be able something that people can remember, and then they just Google search it, and then they find the page immediately.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't have to make a full explanation. All right. See, Hacker Alex is here. It was written by a political figure. Okay, maybe. I don't know. The people and will have to explain some more. Twitter, yes. Yeah, Twitter.
Oh.
No, I got it. Yeah, so
it followed the comment of great show, and then it was ruined by a political figure. So I was like, the show was ruined by a political figure.
Anyway, yeah. So let me talk about the next show. On the next show, I've got Carnal X, so it's in 2 weeks from now on the Saturday, 27th of March. So that's going to be great. All right, let me go back into setup. I'll leave you on the screen too, so we can do the news together. So like this, you can look awkward in your little window. All right, so everybody, you know my site pitchymango.org. Please have a look at it, and you'll find more information. And I think there's the I brought the concert and event here, so you got all the live from the studio and the new event coming up. Supporters, that's on my Bandcamp community. You can become a supporter for $20 a year. That tell me to run this show, make some music, I don't know, pay the internet bills. It's cool, and one day I will have enough supporters so I can start to have collaboration and hire some people for doing the mixing and mastering, and somebody behind the scene also to do all this transition.
Right.
So please, it would be awesome to have you as a supporter and also engage in conversation. Resonant Frequency is on the 4th of April, so Sunday at 6 p.m. This is a awesome show. So here is a link where you can go and look for it and sign up. Peak is, I think, this Wednesday at 7 p.m. I don't know who will be on the show, but it's always very nice. Intafon was on it recently, so it was an awesome show. Resident Electronic Music, so is set up as a YouTube streaming. I'll create the page on Bay Improviser, so you'll be able to sign up. I don't know, tonight, tomorrow, we'll see. Don't leave YouTube in I don't know, less than 2 hours. No. So at 2 p.m. Pacific, you've got Modular World, hosted by Juno Wells. I'm performing with Megan Leber, Jen Spaldam, Todd Barton, and Trovasis. So it's going to be an awesome show. So let me give you the link. Should put.
Yeah, where's that based from? I noticed that a few of the artists were they're from
Netherlands,
Sweden,
Denmark, and
Denmark. Yeah.
Yes, yeah. So Juno tried to do Modular World, like really Modular World. So look for people from all over the world.
Nice.
He's based in South California, so he's part of the Southern California Synth Society. I think he's around San Diego. He's not in Los Angeles, but he's part of it, and yes, he has been running it for a little while. And it's a nice show, and he brings a lot of people. And yeah, and it's an opening. It's a good opening to other country. Is it's striking some artists really interesting.
Yeah.
Also, I don't know. I'm doing a little bit of self-hustling. There's a Ballast Breakfast who do the showcase during South by Southwest, so it's next weekend. I'm performing on the Saturday 20 with a Fez. So please have a look at it. And also tip for everybody. If you publish your event on soundkick.com via Tourbox, the sister site, then it gets on your Spotify, on your Bandcamp, and then Spotify, Bandcamp send emails automatically to all your fans. So it's a nice way. One place.
Nice cross promotion.
Yeah, one place, and then a lot of people see it. And also, things which is interesting is that on Monday 22, I'm performing for Inbox Expo. Sorry, I'm typing the link. So yeah, I'm performing at Inbox Expo. I'm some in the email business, but yeah, I'm doing only performance. But it was nice that, and there are also some of my supporters, the people organizing it. So that was nice that they are saying, well, we want to break the Zoom fatigue by having a little bit of music, so they've invited a couple of artists to perform. So this link will give you a free ticket to the performance. All right, what did I saw also? Arbeni, who has released recently an album which is called July. You've got Cortini also that collaborated with Make Noise to make a new synthesizer, and then you've got the Long No, which is a new album 36 minutes is an album. Subclinic also has got a new album just released. I think that's a little bit more dark ghost industrial. What do they say? Death industrial. Okay, here you go.
Death industrial?
Yes.
Oh, that's hardcore.
Yes. He's got two artist names depending on what genre he's performing. Yeah. But yeah, Subclinic is more hardcore stuff.
Yeah. Cool.
John Wells also has released an album, Gotham Child, on Error Grid. If you want to know everything about Error Grid, I saw Malaki was on the chat, so you can ask him.
There's some good stuff on that label. I've been listening to a lot of them lately.
Yeah, no, that's cool. And Gotham Child is cinematic journey. So there's a story behind, and then he put the music to go with the story. That's quite, I don't know. Did he say it was his first concept album? Or kind of?
Seems like I remember something like that, yeah.
Wabi Zabi was here as DB Poland, as a new track, Saunter. What else? And I'm receiving Lachlan Fletcher in 3 shows upcoming, so he's releasing.
Yeah, and if you haven't checked out that album, it's really awesome. It's a wonderful ambient album.
Yeah, and then you work with I think Dirty Bill and Actias for the video, so you can also watch the video on YouTube. It's quite neat. Yeah. So my next performer, so the next show will be with Karn Alex, and after that I will have Frey, daughter of daughter of Drexia, and then after I will have Lachlan Fletcher. I think after I want to do an all-star show, so I'll really invite everybody that has been on the show to come up, and then we'll chat for about an hour. That will be a good kind of having a meetup for all the artists that have been here. So I think that's roughly the plan. That's in about like 2 months now. I'm lining up stuff. So that was let me come back to bigger screen. Sorry, I'm wrangling with all the setup. Here we go. And I'll put back your intafon site. So at intafon.com. Here we go. All right. So you got the word for the end, and you can say bye. I don't know. Say something for the end.
Have a great weekend, everyone. It was a pleasure to be here, and it was a pleasure to talk to you, Franck.
Yeah, that was likewise. That was really awesome. Very nice piece of music. Thank you very much, everybody, for being here. And if you've got, don't forget to subscribe, like, follow intafon everywhere. And please check the next show. It's already on YouTube, and click the reminder so like this you will know about it. And I'll see you in 2 weeks, if not before, on the interwebs. Thank you very much. Take care.